This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a sea of impala. Not all impala. We do have a little individual who clearly thinks they're an impala, but they're actually a wild beast known as a wildebeest. But it's a great start to the morning on quarantine. They're on the southern side, which makes me suspicious of what happened on the other side. But anyway, good morning. My name is Lauren, and I do have Davi once again on camera, and we've just stopped here to appreciate this. I mean, impala are common. They're the most numerous. They're everywhere, but these are the guys that are going to give you all the information of the bush. And I always like to say, if you just listen hard enough, the bush is going to tell you everything that's going on. We're just not always that good at reading it or understanding it. But it's telling you, the signs are there. Might not be visual, might not even be audio, but the signs are there. I'm very much hoping today on this live safari, we do not get rained on. It did rain last night, nice and hard and nice and heavy, but that's exactly what the landscape needs. So just a reminder, everyone, this is interactive and you can talk to us, and we need you to talk to us. The questions are what makes this show this show. So please do send in your comments and questions using the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter. And of course, if you're under 18, you must absolutely talk to us, but you do that in a different way. You send us an email, and the email is kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Please do register on the WildEarth website, though. You just head over to the channel, and that's where you can also submit your questions. It's a beautiful morning. The birds are chirping. It's overcast. It's foggy. There's not much ambient light, but it's cool and it's dry. If you just look in front of the wildebeest derby, there are impala there. I think there's 4 or 5, and you can hardly see them. I mean, they've all got their heads down. They're very busy feeding, but that's how long the grass is. It's so long. But if the sun pops out today, that's exactly what you want. That means the insect life will just flourish. And I actually saw my first bushveld antlion this morning. I haven't seen one up until now, so I'm wondering if with every bout of rain, with every additional volume of water, new insect life starts to flourish. And that's what I love. One week, you'll just have butterflies everywhere. And the next week, you'll start to see another range of insects. And this morning, I definitely saw my first antlion. Sounds are just incredible. In a moment or two, I will get on my way, and I am going to head to the hyena den naturally, but you guys already knew that. Checking in once a drive is perfect. You might get lucky, you might not, but I think that's where I want to head this morning, because we didn't have any luck there this afternoon. Okay, we're going to bumble south, hopefully get lucky this morning. I'm feeling lucky. And we're going to send you guys over to Rowan to say good morning.
Lovely and great morning to everyone. We are currently at Juma Dam. Just, stopped off for a little bit, listening what's going on. If we can hear anything from anywhere. But so far it's been quiet, just a bit of birding. So nothing wrong with that. Good start for us. Slow and steady wins the race. My name is Rowan. I'll be your guide for today. Behind the camera I've got OD. And our plan for this morning would just be to go check all the cut lines. Actually want to see what has come in during the course of the night. So last night we had quite a bit of rain till about, I'd say it probably ended 7:45, 8 o'clock, and then nothing. So it should be quite nice to go check the cut lines, see if any fresh tracks come in. Then at least we know exactly how fresh it is. Maybe a pride of lions, maybe a pack of wild dogs. Some leopard, just whatever, just hope for the best. So other than that, no rain so far, which is quite nice. We got a bit drenched last night. I joined Rexy on drive, which was fun, but very wet. And cooler temperatures, thank goodness. I think yesterday morning, this time, it was just nearly already, 25, 28 degrees Celsius. Thanks everyone, missed you too. It's nice to be back, especially it's nice to be on a different property. So even though I'm saying we're going to go check all the cut lines, first of all I need to find the cut lines. But Odie assured me that he knows the roads and we won't get lost. I don't mind, I'm quite a fan of getting lost. As long as no one expects me to call anything over the radio, because I'm going to have no idea which road I'm on. But like I said, pretty morning here on Juma. It's actually a beautiful little property. Can't wait to get out and explore. Maybe find some of your favorite lions here, some of your favorite leopard. Quite keen to go see Tlalamba. I'll be honest, Rexon took us past there yesterday and said she's been hiding the cubs in a drainage line. Closest spot I think on the eastern side, northeastern side. Maybe a little bit later. We've got the blacksmith lapwings framed up there, just sitting on a little sandbank. You can see the terrapins, the heads popping up every now and then in the background. I was hoping that hippo is here, because of course this is my first time on Juma, and we always heard about this hippo playing with a stick. But not today. So we've just been watching birds and terrapins. Lots of woodland kingfishers calling in the background. It's funny, that bird especially, Djuma the hippo. I guess everyone used to watch it. Djuma. Oh, Jimmy. Not getting the name. Yeah, wish I could see him. Maybe during my time here, he'll pitch up, come play with a few sticks. Like I was saying with the woodlands kingfisher, everyone loves him for about the first week of summer, and then it just gets a bit too much. Lots of red-billed buffalo weavers around here as well. So yeah, like I said, we'll carry on, we'll explore the cut lines, see if we can find any tracks of anything crossing into Juma. But I think for this morning, actually stay on Juma and just explore this beautiful property.
Look at that, there's a tiny leopard cub. Kruger has given birth overnight. Look at the little guy who just came around the corner. That is incredible. That's probably his first solo kill.
Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, and have a look, here comes Osana with the monitor lizard.
Oh, Hosanna, I don't think I've ever seen a leopard fall out of as many trees as I've seen you fall out of.
Hosanna, of course, at the same time decided to go climbing up the tree. He's just nearly fallen out of it again.
Hosanna's flat. Couple Impala there. Once he starts hunting, he never stops.
Look at that, he's running away. The buffalo is chasing Hosanna at the moment. Hosanna is going very fast now, trying to run away from this very big animal coming. That was so funny.
If I could take you on safari all day and all night, I would, but unfortunately, it's not always the best time to see the animals. Now, in between safaris, you can watch the WildEarth channel with loads of extra shows. If you have a connected television, Apple TV or Roku box, then download the WildEarth app, and if not, then just find it on the App Store on your phone.
Wildlife trafficking remains a growing problem in South Africa, and often made worse by the way the media portray this complex issue. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, have recently embarked on a program whereby they train reporters to better tell stories of wildlife trafficking.
In my community, wildlife conservation is mostly something other people do, and I would like to change that. My name is Iman Singli. I told people I met that the pangolin is one of the most trafficked animals on the planet. But what is a pangolin, they said? Why is it in danger? This is what made me decide that the pangolin story must be told. If we are to play a part in preventing the extinction of this animal, then we must all be part of the battle.
A partnership between WWF South Africa and WESA, supported by USAID.
We're just appreciating the brown snake eagle. This is the one we're seeing all the time. It's immature. And it's definitely in this area regularly. I saw it yesterday here, and I saw it the day before on Gowrie Cutline, which is really not too far from here. Is this your little territory? Did you have a bad night? I feel like you might have. With all that rain, thunder, it can be easy. Really easy to identify as soon as you see those piercing yellow eyes. I mean, you don't even really need to look at the legs. You know what you're working with. Chris, me too. That speckled pattern is what tells you he's immature. So when they're an adult, they generally don't have that speckled pattern. They're not a bird that has different color morphs, and they normally are just all brown, dark brown. So this is what tells me the sort of speckles on his head, and he almost looks a little bit unkempt, like he needs a good trip to the hairdressers and the beautician, and that's what tells you immediately he's immature. A really, really gorgeous bird. But I just have a funny feeling it is the same individual that we're seeing. It's really easy to get them confused with the sort of black-chested snake eagles, or at least the juveniles. But we don't tend to see so many black-chested snake eagles here. It's always brown snake eagles we see in this area. I hope you dry off, mister. We're gonna keep bumbling. I have many things on my to-do list today. Hyena Den being number one. And as I always say, it's not actually ribbon and cubs I really want to see. Of course I want to see them. It's interactions. It's interactions between the adults. So at least during my stint here, I want to try and... My goodness. I want to try and establish the hierarchy. So as I make my way there, we're going to send you across the road.
Good luck, Lauren. Actually, strangely enough, we were just talking about that. We had some hyena trucks coming this way, and then it looks like it actually cut towards camp. But Odie and I were saying that there was a hyena track in camp this morning. Obviously it turned and it made the track a little bit bigger, so it literally looked like a lion track. And of course, first thing in the morning, 4:15, when you see this thing, you're a little bit half asleep, haven't had coffee yet, and then so I had to actually turn back, pause, and just look at it. Turned out to be a hyena though, sadly, and not a lion. Well, not sadly. I must say it's quite nice to hear hyenas calling at night again. But easy to identify since they don't really retract their claws and they walk basically like penguins with their tracks outwards. Should be easy to see, and it's still on the road, still going this way. Like I said, I'm just exploring this morning. It's quite nice. Little drainage line. Very pretty area, nice trees. Hi Flo, nice to have you join us this morning. And yeah, like I said, very, very nice to be back, especially on a different property, you know, just it is exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking to be on a place that you don't know, but this is how you get to know a place. So you just drive around slowly. I don't think I've even left first gear once. But Flo, thank you so much. Yeah, nice to be back. And I also hope we see lots and lots and lots of leopard. And that's really what Sabi Sands are renowned for, is the leopard country. And I mean, chatting to Rexon last night, you know, every single spot we drove through, he's like, okay, this leopard, this leopard, that. I forgot all the names, but luckily that's why I have you guys. So whenever we do find a leopard, you'll have to help me identify them. But I do think what I want to do, or would like to do, after we check the cut line, see if any tracks are coming in, we'll go past where Rex was last night and check if Tlalamba is around. Little firefinch flying in front of us. It is so green and so thick here. I knew I was going to get questions about Ingala. So Ingala female is actually doing quite well. Remember, she had this massive wound in her flank, I think her right flank. It looked like, it didn't really look like anything bit into her. It looked like she might have had tried to run away from something, maybe even the Birmingham Pride, because at a stage they stole a carcass from her up a marula tree. And it literally tore her skin back, and it left a gaping wound this massive. But that's recovered very well. And yeah, she's still around. She's been mating with the Mandleve, a big male leopard with blue eyes, half an ear, Mandleve meaning ear in Shangaan. And yeah, hopefully she's pregnant soon. So of course I'm still in touch with all the rangers on Ingala. Birmingham Pride's doing superbly well. Ingala female's youngsters doing very well, killing impala lambs left, right and center. It looks like she's almost set up territory basically in the center eastern part of Ingala. She tends to spend a lot of time around there. Probably our most relaxed leopard now, whereas Ingala female, I don't know, she's not 100% relaxed. Although if you find her on a carcass, she tends not to run away. But yeah, no, thanks for the question. She's doing very well, still alive, and hopefully going to be pregnant soon. There's another Devonshire female. She looks pregnant. Got the update about a week ago. But yeah, a quick update on the Birmingham Pride for those of you that are interested. They are all still together. Rasmal's still there. But I think the old lioness, they used to call her Bust, I think she might have passed. I haven't found a carcass, but with the amount of hyenas around on that property, you probably wouldn't find a carcass. Oh, this area is pretty. It's always so nice after rain. Everything just looks so fresh. Of course, what happens today is because there was rain yesterday, all the scent of the territorial animals, they've washed away. So they need to... Oh, Oh, sorry, I just got the end part of that question. What would I like to see? Which character? I'd love to see Tlalamba. Darkbone, yeah, I'd say Tlalamba. Just because she has the two youngsters, and nothing cuter than a cub. So like I was saying, with a bit of rain last night, all the territorial scent has washed away. So I'm hoping that I can actually find something on a road that needs to scent mark again, remark their territorial boundaries. But so far, only hyena tracks. Looks like a good road. I think we're nearly back at Cap. So we've actually just done a loop around the dam, and then from here we'll head to a cut line. But while I do that, I'm going to send you back over to Lauren, who's also just bumbling around.
We are also jumping off to look at tracks. Twin Dams Road is covered in them, but it's hyena, and lots of them. And younger hyenas, smaller tracks, actually it looked like a leopard, but it's not. It's lots of hyenas. And it makes sense. The Dane is on Twin Dams Road. It's at the bottom, so it makes sense. This road is going to have a lot of activity. Because although it's Ribbon's den, it's now communal. Everybody welcome there. We've seen lots of individuals there. She hasn't moved, which has actually surprised me. Ribbon didn't move the cubs much as well. Or sorry, 20. That's not flashing now, is it? I'm probably going to make that mistake a lot, but she didn't move them much either. I wonder if she's one of these mothers that just likes to keep them put. But it is a communal den now, which means that there's going to be heavy traffic. There is social animal, they're social beings. So whether there's internal disputes, whether there's a sort of matriarchal position in conflict, they are still going to socialize with one another, and that's very important. A spotted hyena would not be a spotted hyena if it didn't socialize. And there's actually this wonderful study done where they did bring spotted hyenas into captivity. I don't know the background. I'm not sure if they were abandoned or what the story was, but they brought them into captivity and they were not related. They were all of a similar age, and without having spent time with the mother to learn the mother's behavior, immediately they started to establish a hierarchy system between them. Immediately they started to sort it out, and they established who was where. And it took a while, and it involved a lot of action, but eventually this group of unrelated, unknown youngsters established a hierarchy. Why? Because they have to. That's what being a hyena is all about. We are on the 2 track. The Dane is just up ahead. Not sure. I know a lot of people message me about June being pregnant. I think that's absolutely almost 99.9% not the case. I really do think it was a ginormous food belly, and she did have full mammary glands because she is still suckling Novella. I know that Heart still has Gingerica. Ribbon's obviously occupied. I was wondering about how's that? Okay, we'll come back later. I was wondering about Intima, because it is believed that Intima has lost in Tambu. I'm afraid. But if Corky's back at the top, if she is at the top, and I do suspect she really is, then maybe Corks, because it also appears that Braveheart may no longer be here as well. So I am wondering if now that Corky's in a position of power, lots of males will be trying to please her, bow down to her. Everyone will be. I wonder if she'll be next. And that's why I'm trying to keep up with them, really. Have a look at them. It's very difficult to tell if Hyena's pregnant, just like a leopard. You can only really tell if they don't have cubs already and they're at the very end. The very last stage. It's only then you can really tell. Okay, hyena den was not active, so I am now going to revise my plan.
The spotted hyena is one of Africa's most dominant predators. They are incredible hunters and infamous scavengers. Ribbon is the matriarch of the Juma clan, and she rules with an iron fist. She emerged from the bottom to become the lady in charge by challenging the status quo and overthrowing Corky.
Sitting pretty as the king of the castle.
Currently, she is denning with 2 brand new cubs.
Now, isn't this just awesome? We're sitting here with the Juma clan, and this particular individual, her name is Ribbon.
WildEarth will be following their lives as they grow from tiny, vulnerable cubs to full-grown adults who can survive in the African wild. If you are fascinated by this famous clan, then why not buy a non-fungible token of one of their unique members? Head over to our website to find out more.
When on safari, there's nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a WildEarth explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. BirdLife South Africa, our country's only dedicated bird conservation organization. They have been very successful in a number of areas, including the conservation of more than 150,000 hectares of grasslands and estuary habitat, saving thousands of albatrosses in trawl and longline fishing, and training community bird guides as ambassadors for nature in rural areas. Celebrating their official 25th anniversary, they are sharing 25 of their top success stories across their social media platforms. BirdLife South Africa is currently striving towards the conservation of 132 bird species that are heading for extinction. If we conserve birds, we will protect other biodiversity and important habitats that provide clean water and clean air for humans. Their work is forever ongoing. People who love birds can become a member of BirdLife South Africa or make a donation towards a bird conservation project.
Into the Mowati now. I just want to check this one little area and take it from there. I think I'm going to just work the central area and see if we can pick up on any signs of Kalamba. I would really love to see that cat. And our cubbies too. But naturally, I would just love to spend some time with her. So that's my revised plan. But if lucky morning, which could be the case due to the weather, we shall pop back at the hyena den and keep trying. Okay, for now, over to Rowan.
So what is the solar panel? Okay, so we are actually in the dip that is Philemon's dip now, and this is us cruising out of the dip. I always laugh at how people name roads, because Philemon probably worked here and did something that he deserved the road name. In Onangala we used to have a road called Trevor's Hole, and yeah, Trevor did something stupid and landed in the hole. Luckily there's no road named Roan Road on Ingala. I never did anything silly, I promise. Okay. Left, right, or straight? Let's go straight. There are some gorgeous clearings here. That's also quite nice to see. I mean, it's not natural, but they've some of these trees have mesh around them, and the reason they do this is because elephants destroy them, especially marula trees. I mean, Eddie, I think I might just stop here quick. If you can zoom in on that one, because it's been, if you look at this tree, you can actually see the wire mesh going around it. But you can also see that it's been ring-barked already. So what elephants have done is they've dug their tusks into it. They actually pull the bark off to get to the cambium layer. So that reddish layer just underneath the bark, that is what transports nutrients from the roots to the leaves. And so, of course, if that is removed, there's no more nutrients going up and down, and the tree actually dies. It's quite sad. They love to do this to marula trees, the one we're looking at now. Of course, they carry the marula fruits, which elephants also love. So you wish you could teach them that, you know, leave this tree around, wait till summer, and you're just going to love the fruits of it. But sadly, it doesn't work like that yet. But it is nice to see that, you know, there's some conservation of it, and they're trying to protect these trees because, no more marula trees means no more amarula, which means no more bush coffee. And that would be dismal. Actually, I hope a few of you are having your bush coffees this morning while you join us on this live safari. So yeah, I just quickly wanted to explain that. I'll tell you another thing that is really fun, to drive a Land Rover. Denise, no, it doesn't really affect other animals. I mean, I've never really seen anything stuck in it. It just means that elephants don't dig their tusks into it anymore. There's still enough of the tree left for any bird to go pecking in it, for squirrels to go into holes. It is literally just to pretty much protect the bottom till about, I'd say, half the stem up. I mean, even at that height, elephants can still dig in a little bit higher, but they tend not to. Once they see the wire, they just don't dig in anymore. Literally hyena tracks everywhere. I think Rex was saying there's about 150 to 200 hyenas around this property. Of course, not all the same clan, I can't imagine. I know in East Africa you get clans of up to about 250. So around there, they tend to be the hunters, and then lions are the scavengers. Whereas down here, majority of the time, your prides are bigger, your clans are smaller, and hyenas tend to scavenge from lions more often. Beautiful little bunting hopping in front of us. Sorry, Birdie, does not want to get off the road. I try my best not to do anything silly on Juma so that something gets named after me. I think majority of the time is that's how it happens. Although, and I remember on Ngala we have a road called Fenter's Road, and when I just arrived, the two managers there were Rian and Shalia, and surname Fenter, so they got a road named after them because they actually made a huge difference on Ngala. So they were there for a long time. But no, I'll try to stay out of trouble while I'm here, especially on my first stint. This is Swainson Spurfowl. Their calls are amazing. Often you find them just sitting on top of a termite mound or halfway up a tree, and it literally sounds like a bossy toad just screaming its head off, especially this time of the day. Dawn chorus, as it's known as. nice start to the morning, but I must say we haven't really traveled very far. Still slowly making our way to the cut line. We're going to send you over to Lauren and see what she's up to.
We have had no luck so far. There are hyena tracks everywhere. Not one single road jet does not have a fresh-ish hyena track. Goodness. But anyway, we're going to keep moving for now. I can feel a light little drizzle. Which is not ideal, but that's okay. Drizzle we can handle. Last night it really came down hard. We all went back to camp rather soggy. I think we won the soggy bird competition. Okay. This road is in Yala, and I just happen to love this road for so many reasons. It's a beautiful road. There's lots of little pans in summer. I mean, in winter, of course not. Tandy's Dane, where I first saw Mareebs, which then became Tlalambas at some point. Amber Eyes Dane, where I first saw her 4 little bundles of joy, which was such a great sighting because Amber Eye struggled for a while. She was late to become a mother. It all happened on Indiana Road. That's why I love it, due to those memories. Did you catch that name, Dog? Bib. I really couldn't answer that in terms of accuracy. I think a lot goes on in those early stages. These hyena tracks that we don't know about. But from my experience with hyenas, I would say leopards do move the den sites. They absolutely do, because it's a very different sort of type of den site. I mean, the hyena cubs can just go inside the mound and they're there, they're safe. Whereas a leopard, they're more exposed. Yes, they have these intricate sort of systems of roots and embankments, but still, it's not quite termite mounds. So I would say leopards do move a lot more than hyenas, but in terms of, is that accurate? I'm really not sure. I think leopards probably move the cubs the most out of lions, leopards, and hyenas, and even dogs. Leopards do well. I mean, that den site that both Tandy and Tlalamba used, it's so intricate. It's a steep embankment, roots, crevices, cracks, and that's the perfect den site. But obviously he's a vulture. Oh, that's very far. Well done, Dobby. Eagle eyes, vulture eyes. Looks like a hooded. It just looks like one, though. And one isn't necessarily a sign that anything could be there. If there were 5 vultures on that tree, I would maybe go around and investigate. But these heavy birds need somewhere to put their big bodies. Yeah, it's definitely a hooded vulture. Aren't they fantastic birds? I just love them. I feel like they're sort of similar to hyenas in that they both have a really bad reputation. we're doing something pretty awesome for the ecosystem. Oh, look at all these woodlands. There's 3 on that tree, all having a fight. Oh, sorry, Dobby. They're on this one now. You'll be able to see them flying around. I don't think it's going to be easy to capture them. They're not really keeping still. It's all settled down. I'm sure you heard it though. The males can be very aggressive with one another, and there's all sorts of displays to attract the females. They're so active. Okay, I think we are just going to keep bumbling as I really want to check this area before we slow down the drive.
Three brothers named the Avoca males arrived in Juma in 2018.
This is our first good look at the Avoca males, so they're definitely a bit older than what I thought when we were looking at them. They're just under 5.
This area had recently been vacated by the Birmingham boys. The Avocas grabbed the opportunity and took over the Talamati and Nkuhuma prides quickly. In 2019, they were seen mating with females from both prides and went on to sire cubs with them.
We are very privileged to be watching the Nkuhuma pride as the sun comes up.
The most recognizable lion in this coalition is Darkmane. Aside from the dark mane that gave him his name, he can be recognized by a distinctive limp. This limp stems from an injury to his right leg he sustained while taking down a buffalo with the Nkuhuma pride. If you want to celebrate these individual cats, then head over to our website to learn more about our non-fungible tokens.
As a naturalist, it's really important that I stay up to date and up to breast with what's happening in the wild and in the world around us. The WildEarth app helps us do that and helps us stay abreast with the live interactions of animals every day. We're going to be here at Stony Point bringing you the African penguin story, and we'd love to see you on the app. See you on the beach.
For those of you who love to join us on safari here on WildEarth, we have some news.
This is incredibly exciting.
The team have trawled through the archives and found the very best of safari life from over the years.
Come and disperse there.
With locations such as the Masai Mara in Kenya.
You can see how close he is from where I am.
Swalu in the Kalahari.
It is absolutely incredible.
And of course Pinda and Ngala right here on our doorstep.
Listen.
We have hours of great entertainment that is now playing on our channel. Catch up with guides from the past and of course your favorite animal characters.
It's happening. I've never seen this before.
The best of Safari Live will be broadcast on WildEarth channel daily, so jump on board and join us down memory lane. Times for this brand new series are on our website.
Comms just went a little bit crazy there. Can I just get you to plug me in there, Dobby? Or make sure I'm plugged in. We should be okay now. Okay, everyone. Where to next? It's day 3 since coming back after a long break, and I want to see spots. I would really love to see some spots. But when we spent time at Madikwe recently, I realized how lucky we are in this area, specifically the sands, actually, for leopards. We are so lucky. And due to the high density of the leopards that we have, I mean, yes, they're habituated, but with regards to their density, with males and females, it means that their territories are much smaller than possibly would be for a leopard of the same subspecies elsewhere. And in Madikwe, their territories are huge, huge territories. So they see leopards about once a month, if that, because their territories are so huge. Whereas here, territories are much smaller, and maybe that's it's not ideal for the leopard itself, but the territories are smaller due to the density. They're all tightly packed next to one another, constantly pushing, constantly pulling. And then that sort of experience made me realize here in the sands we're very lucky. We maybe don't see a leopard every single day, but really our leopard sightings are out of this world sometimes. And we know where to find specific individuals because we really do know their territory, give or take, because it's not that big. I want to look for some dung beetles today as well. If I don't find my spots, we're going to go with the dung beetle. I should be able to find one of those. Fingers crossed. Oh, Gabby, you know, I was so sad. Rexon was so excited for it, and the weather just really took that plan away. I'm so sad. Maybe I can use Davy this afternoon and we'll show you the dance, but it's not quite going to be the same as Rexon. There's something quite special about seeing Rex in a nice Scottish country dance, and I'll tell you, we did do it in the past, and that's why we were going to do it for his birthday, but the weather just did a U-turn on us. But we did dance, don't worry. Rexon and I did plenty of dancing on the 31st New Year's Eve. Our Hogmanay. It's a big thing New Year's Eve in Scotland. We do something called first footing. I'm sure if any Scottish viewers are watching at all, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a huge bird there, but I just want to try and get a better view for Davy. And when I say huge bird, at this stage, I would never be able to identify it. I need my binos in this weather. You see it, Dove? I don't know if it's another vulture. I'm just not getting this gap. You see how thick it is? I'm really struggling to get a gap for Davy to point the camera. I don't think it's going to work. But if that's another vulture, that's also interesting. They do follow each other. I mean, vultures are highly visual, like us. And they do like to keep each other within visual range, because then if someone spots something, oh, there we go. If someone spots something and swoops down to the ground, then the other one can say, uh-huh. Okay, it's definitely not the best visual we've ever come across, but this is a whiteback. It's not the one from earlier, is it? Oh, so we've got one hooded and one white-backed vulture. Interesting. Still not enough to make me think that anything's really going on, though. This looks like a cold, grumpy old man up there. It's been a while since I've had one of these sightings where there are just hundreds of vultures and a carcass, and the vocalizations, the hissing sound that they make. It's really not nice. Not sure if you've heard it or not, but vultures, I don't like their vocalizations, but it's been a while since I've had one of those sightings. I think one of my favorite sightings, and we weren't actually live, it was during the day, and it was a dead impala on quarantine. So we knew something's going to come. Let's keep an eye on it. Hopefully it's going to happen during the afternoon drive, but of course it didn't. And the vultures found it quickly, and one by one they just dive bomb to the ground. And again, that's because they're watching each other. As soon as someone spots something and makes that descent, they all do. And before you know it, we had hundreds of whitebacks, hooded. I think that was the only two species there. On the carcass, no other predators. And then lo and behold, someone turned up and took the entire ram away, and that person, well, that individual was Swazi. Oh, he didn't like the vultures, and oh, they didn't like him. But that's one of my favorite sightings, with lots of vultures. And sadly, it wasn't live. Okay, I'm still going to work this area, though. I mean, this is the area I wanted to be in anyway. But 2 vultures, I'm going to work it and see what we can get. And as I do that, we're going to send you across to Rowan.
We spoke to someone from Simbambile, and he was saying there was a leopard down this road somewhere. So we are actually just slowly checking along to see if he has any off-roading tracks, but I'm not sure if it might have been on their side, so to the left of us, and we're not allowed to drive in there. Just slowly cruising along, checking all the clearings, seeing if we could see anything from the road or see their tracks coming from this side if he went off-road anyway. There are some hippo tracks back there going opposite direction. Odie was saying there's a pan called One-Eyed Pan on that side. So I was just wondering what gives a pan one eye. Anyone can provide me some detail on that. But so far we have had no lion tracks, no leopard tracks crossing from what we could see. Just the one hippo. Just ambling along. So of course they'll be out at night time feeding, and often they could walk quite far, just depending on the condition of the grass around their watering hole. Slowly scanning the area, see if we can find it. Hello, Holly and Mark. I think I know the two of you, if you're the Needhams. So we recently moved to Hoedspruit, and we actually had a black mamba in the garden. It is indeed the Needhams. Hello, Holly. Hello, Mark. Nice to hear from you guys. Yeah, so we actually had quite a large black mamba in the garden. I'd say about 2 meters, 2.5 meters. And now the issue is we've got a boxer as well. His name is Zorro. And of course, he's not used to this at all. He's a Cape Townian dog. So now you have to kind of, you know, not really show him the snake, but just keep him away. So what we've done is we've put mosquito netting on all the doors, just so he can't really go out by himself. Luckily, he's quite an old dog. I think he's approaching 12 years. So it's not really that mobile anymore. It's just every now and then you need to take him out for a wee. But it is the scary thing, you know. I think dogs are not really like cats. Dogs, you know, will investigate. And yeah, I found the tracks. Looks to be going off here to the right. So let's actually follow them. Don't know how far off-road he went, but might be. It looks like it just turns. Let's have a quick look in here. But yeah, with domestic dogs, I think they're in a bit more trouble than cats are, because cats are rather clever and a lot quicker. Yeah, this is a odd off-roading truck, but I'll stick to it. No, Odie, I think it might have been here somewhere. He did say something about a termite mound, bit of a clearing, and he did say the leopard was about 30-40 meters off the road. think my flicker is on. Keeps ticking. Might have moved off. I'm just sitting here seeing if we can maybe hear something rather than see anything. Like I said earlier, it is very, very, very thick. The grass is long, in perfect spot for a leopard to hide. Although, and then there's a cat, they don't really like the water too much. So I can imagine they'll go more into an open area or even the road to try to escape that and keep drier.
The spotted hyena is one of Africa's most dominant predators. They are incredible hunters and infamous scavengers. Ribbon is the matriarch of the Juma clan, and she rules with an iron fist. She emerged from the bottom to become the lady in charge by challenging the status quo and overthrowing Corky.
Sitting pretty as the king of the castle.
Currently, she is denning with 2 brand new cubs.
Now, isn't this just awesome? We're sitting here with the Juma clan, and this particular individual, her name is Ribbon.
WildEarth will be following their lives as they grow from tiny, vulnerable cubs to full-grown adults who can survive in the African wild. If you are fascinated by this famous clan, then why not buy a non-fungible token of one of their unique members? Head over to our website to find out more.
I've always dreamed of Africa since I was a little girl. And then I just decided, you know what? It's time to come. It's time to just live the dream.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
It is so exciting. You're able to see the difference of what you see on TV to how much work it actually is creating what you see on TV. The leopards, mareeps. How could you not really fall in love with that cat? He's got such a personality, and you never know what he's going to do.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer, and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's about just being together and seeing and enjoying the animals and the great outdoors. It's just been a great experience. Certainly, if anyone's able to, dare to dream and come.
To say, when it's a cold, miserable day, an elephant sighting's exactly what you want. Now I'm going to try and go forward. How's that, Look at it tearing up the... Oh, I think it's just pulling the grass near that juvenile cluster leaf. I thought it was tearing away at the cluster leaf. I can't wait till the silver cluster leaves start to pong, shall we say. I love it. I love that smell. I haven't met anyone else that really loves that smell, but it's a mixture of smelly feet with really old cheese and something else foul in there. But it's just such a good smell to me, and of course it reminds me of quarantine naturally, and it reminds me of summer, and I really can't wait till they start honking. But I think this youngster's just pulling up the grass, not actually pulling away at the cluster leaf here. seconds I can hear branches breaking all around us. Poor branches. And it was absolutely 100% Rexon that says this, but I'm going to steal it and be honest about it. Rexon said they're not destroyers, they're creators. And that's perfect. Wesley, me too. I love when they're slightly hidden and then they just emerge like that. Oh, there's a baby. Hello. We can hear alarm calls. Chungus Impala. Kudu. Okay. You think coming from the drainage line? Okay, you know what? We're going to lose these elephants very soon anyway. And I think if we hear alarm calls, you know what that means, everyone. That there is a predator. So let's just see if we can maybe catch up with these Ellies. But when you hear an alarm call, you gotta react. Time is of the essence. Drive too fast. You think go around Inyala, Davi? Probably squirrels. Squirrels can get it spot on. This constant high-pitched noise, however, they will also alarm call for things that we can't really react to, like snakes or dangers on the ground, reptiles. They can also just alarm call because they're just having a really bad day. So sometimes they can. I've found Tlalamba once through squirrels. However, I don't pay attention to them all the time. Generally speaking, your antelopes are really reliable, most of them. It can get a bit confusing during the rutting season because the males are so vocal, but it's not an alarm call, it's a snort. You've just got to sort of, you hear it and then you think, oh, was that an alarm call? And then as you listen, you realize it's not, it's just the males. I think I do tend to. I look at the squirrels and then I'll assess the situation and then sometimes just possibly ignore it. I wonder if we should turn off and listen. What do you think? Keep going. It's actually Darby who picked up on that alarm call because I was too busy talking and listening to question, which is why I'm asking him. When we do pop onto Inyala Road North, we did Inyala Road South together. When we do Inyala Road North, we lose signal. It's always been a really bad road, always, since the beginning of time for signal. It's a bit of a black spot, which is a shame because it's a really stunning road. Is always longer than I remember it to be. I'm just going to switch off and listen. Kabuki, yes, I went into great detail. We got asked that yesterday as well. Yes, it's very difficult. It really depends on the amount of rain. You obviously asked about hard rain. what type of animal. Naturally, leopards and lions walk very softly, leopards more so. And if those tracks were there, they could easily get washed away by extremely hard rain. And it depends when they walked. So we're seeing a lot of hyena tracks, and that's because they're very inelegant, heavy walkers. And if they've walked after the rain, they're very visible. They sort of churn up the mud, if you like, or the wet sand, the wet soil. So, but overall, it's very, very difficult to spot tracks and follow tracks. But light rain you can get away with, but hard rain is extremely difficult. Okay, we're just going to try and loop around this area and see if we can locate the animal that's making the alarm calls, and we're going to send you guys over to Ronnie.
Good luck, Lauren. I really hope you do find something. It seems that we have actually just missed this leopard. What I'm going to do, so I'm going to jump out quick and then I'll show you tracks. Seems to have been a young male. So I can imagine he was sitting on the termite mound and then came straight through here. And quite a nice muddy patch. So here are his tracks, and then of course, with our luck, he goes this way and actually cross. You can see all the hippo tracks here. So he was walking along the road a little bit, and then here's another track, and then another one here. And the sand and the mud is actually quite soft here, but it looks like he was moving along the road for a little while, and then we lose the tracks. And it's exactly what Lauren was saying, is that something as heavy as a hippo, very easy to track down. I mean, that's 1.5 tons pushing down in the sand. But a leopard, maybe a young male like this, weighing 50 kilograms, soft pads, and I'm pretty sure you would have either followed this game trail or this game trail. Us coming up this way didn't seem, so he crossed in to the next property, unfortunately, but that's okay. This is only our first cut line that we've explored. We are really going very slowly, which is quite nice. And they keep saying things on the radio that I don't really understand, mentioning spots that I don't know. So that's the nerve-wracking thing about a new property, is you just don't know it yet. But I'm sure in about 3 days or so, should definitely know my way around. But for now, Odie's just saying go right, go left, go straight. Just going to turn around here. A little bit sad we missed this young male, but it happens. Can't have everything. Would have been quite fun if I jumped out and the male jumped up. I must say, these hippos cruised along the road for a long time. Came from our side and then went to One-Eyed Pan, I presume. More hyena tracks. And nothing was alarm calling in this area, not even squirrels. But as Lauren said, they are quite unreliable at times, but always worth a stop. Anything giving you a signal in the bush, take note of it. Just sit, listen, watch a little bit, take your binoculars out, have a good look. Chase, thanks for the question. I have actually never met Tingana. No, maybe this time around. The only leopard that I saw was actually Hukamuri, and he must have been about 3 years old. and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of my most profound leopard sightings ever, because this male was lying on a termite mound, and it was a phenomenal spot by the tracker I was working with at the time. His name was Steve, and as we stopped, he crouched down on this termite mound and he actually started stalking the vehicle. Very bizarre. I wasn't used to it at all, leopard behavior like that. And yeah, it's the only ever time we saw him on Ngala. I think I got maybe 3 or 4 photos of him, and then yes, he moved down here all the way to the Sabi Sand. It's quite interesting because apparently the Shitsalala young male, for those of you that remember him from Ngala, he's moved towards Mala Mala. So they do travel. Of course, being that age, they need to become nomadic, get out of the territory of the big males in the surrounding areas, and then yeah, just try live a solitary life, well, as most leopards do, but also just try survive until they are at the age, usually about 6 or 7, where they can start gunning for territory or fighting for territory. But no, Chase, I've not yet met Tingana. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so. Sadly, no lion tracks yet either. I've had no alarm calls, no nothing. Just a ranger telling me there's a leopard, which should be, you know, follow that, and then we missed it. Beautiful birds around this morning as well. What is this? Sharon, good question. Is it normally very quiet after rain? It comes and goes. Like it's, I don't know, you can't really say, okay, 100% of the time it would be quiet after rain, because like I mentioned earlier, everything that's territorial need to go remark their territory, you know, put their scent everywhere where their territorial boundaries are. And so, yeah, it's, I can't really say with certainty it is always going to be quiet. Often we say during rain we're not going to see anything, and I've had some of my best game drives in rainy conditions. Saying that, I've had some of my best game drives in sunny conditions. So there's no strict rule to it. I think animals just do whatever they want. The cats don't really like water too much, especially when it's cool like this. But then elephants, hippos, rhinos, I mean, they just roam around. They don't mind the rain, the cold that much. The one thing that rain does offer is it is very loud. You know, especially with weather like last night, if it's super windy, it's loud, and then there's cloud cover. It offers darkness to predators, especially ambush predators, lions, leopards. So it's good hunting conditions for them. But this morning, after rain, is definitely quiet.
In 2017, it was the end of a long era where Queen Karula had reigned in Juma for 14 years. She passed on, leaving Tandi, her only remaining daughter, to assume the throne. Tandi took over her late mother's domain. She was a protective mother, once luring a baboon away from her cubs. Her young son, Tamba, continues to thrive to this day.
Isn't that wonderful, everybody? Tandi and Tamba.
Princess Tlalamba, daughter of Queen Tandi, is now the heir to the throne.
Kalamba is now having a snooze on the branch. Absolutely gorgeous.
WildEarth is launching non-fungible tokens attached to many of the individual leopards that we have grown to love on WildEarth. If you are interested in being part of this pioneering initiative, then head over to our website to find out more.
Cape Nature is the chief custodian of the Western Cape of South Africa's natural environment. This highly successful organization strives to conserve the province's natural heritage to ensure a sustainable future. Besides nurturing nature, Cape Nature offers an authentic ecotourism experience to local and international visitors. And one of these experiences is walking amongst the penguins at Stony Point, or as we know it, Penguin Beach. WildEarth broadcasts live from here every day and is very privileged to be partnered with Cape Nature, who have focused their conservation efforts here. If you want to visit these iconic black and white African penguins for yourself, then head over to our website to find out more. Cape Nature. Conserve, explore, experience.
Oh, what are you doing? Are you trying out for the ballet? Now it's an itchy bottom. Up we get. Mom's coming. Everybody's moving off.
Sorry about that, everyone. You're back with us. Both vehicles lost signal at the same time. We're still looping, I know. If an antelope is barking at a mobile predator, on a morning like this, the predator is most likely mobile on the roads. Why? Because it's wet. They can absolutely off-road themselves and walk through the thicket, but really, they're probably going to try and dry off. Maybe re-scent marking. And naturally, in the long grass like this, as they walk through it, they are just going to get wet. So they will only do that if they really have to on a morning like this. Which is why I'm trying to stick to the roads and just see if we can catch up with anyone. I haven't seen any tracks so far, so we haven't really got much to work on, but that's okay. We could also just get lucky. Out in the wild. No, I don't believe so. I could be wrong. Do you know of any wild peacocks? No. We had peacocks on the island we were staying in Maldives, but naturally they were not wild. I don't believe we had peacocks. I could be wrong. That was a very random question, and I shall find out for you. Unfortunately, because peacocks are so beautiful, most of the peacocks I have seen have been in some sort of captive setting, which is not ideal. We've almost done a complete loop now. It would be really ideal if we got some alarm calls again. What you looking at, Davi? Another one. I wonder if it's another vulture. Okay, I think we're going to turn off the engine up here anyway and have a good old listen. And as we do that, we're going to send you across to Rowan.
Sometimes it's just the best thing or best way to do things is switch off, actually just listen to the surrounding area. We are still on a cut line, just exploring. Unlike Lauren, who knows the property rather well, I don't have any idea. It's quite nice sitting with a map just to show you what I'm looking at every single time I mention the map. This is the map I'm talking about. So at the moment we are actually driving on the cut line here. We're just past Gallagher shortcut, I presume it's called, and we are making our way to Mvubu Road, which means hippo in Shangaan. So yeah, old school. This is how we're getting to know the property. And hoping to bump something on the way while we do that. I keep looking off to the side, but no fresh tracks, just hippos and hippos and hippos. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it, if I'm honest, to come in a few days before and try to find your bearings. But with this, part of the fun is actually getting lost and just getting to know your way around. So I arrived yesterday afternoon and then quickly hopped on the game drive with Rex, who took you guys out yesterday afternoon. So I was in the back with Odie. And yeah, I mean, this is just me getting to know the property now. Like I said, I mean, it shouldn't really take too long, about 3 days or so, and then we should be good. Really not worried about it. Some buffalo trucks going in. Doesn't look like a few. Actually, a few of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is bizarrely. I think Rex mentioned this yesterday afternoon. We are exactly where the tortoises were mating and then made their way in. That happened right there, and then it looks like just a couple of buffalo bulls, maybe 3, 4 of them heading into Juma. We're not going to track buffalo for now. No nocturnal animals walked over their tracks. I presume it's from early this morning. But I can't see them. And of course nothing is going to alarm call at a buffalo. So yeah, let's continue on the cut line. We'll go past that Mvubu Road, Hippo Road, and then turn on to the next cut line.
Little Prince Hosanna was born in February 2016 to Karula, the Queen of Juma. Over the years, this remarkable young male cat has captured the hearts of WildEarth viewers around the world.
He's just got the best facial expressions.
We met him the day he was born.
Look at the little guy. We just came around the corner.
Enjoyed his playful antics and watched his first hunt.
It is incredible. That's probably his first solo kill.
When his mother disappeared and was presumed dead, he was left alone at only 1 year of age. Remarkably, he survived against the odds to become an incredible male leopard. If you want to celebrate this cat whilst being involved in a pioneering initiative for conservation, head over to our website and buy a Hosanna token.
We baba swatike emsabeni, we baba babansati banhlupha, we baba abafika endlini yami awungathi bangafike ngathithimela, we baba how city was a Friday, my darling, was a Friday.
This is that one, I don't know if you've seen guys make soap out of the leaves.
Yeah. Hey, my sweetie, was a Friday.
There is clearly something in the vicinity around you that's drawn their attention. Yes, that meerkat in the tree is just the coolest of cool meerkats. But watch how he battles when he comes down. That would be like me climbing a tree, just better.
so we're still on a cut line, and I think what we might do is actually go past Biffle's Hook Dam. Not really because we're expecting a lot of animals around there, but mostly because I want to see it. A bit selfish of me, sorry for that. It's just, you know, after the rain, a lot of grazers, they'll actually get the moisture from the grass they eat because it's still very, very wet if you walk through here. And then, of course, there are just puddles of water everywhere, which is what makes summertime quite a difficult season to guide with all the rain. And of course the bush is just so much thicker. But anything, leopard, lion, if they have carcasses anywhere, it could be, you know, in a piece of land in between roads, and they don't really need to walk to watering holes to go get water. So they'll just stick around, go to the nearest puddle, or drink some more, and then go back to the carcass and eat. Saying that, we still have not seen a single predator track other than hyena on this road. And yeah, a definite cut line. I mean, if you look ahead of us, it's just straight up. That's why it's quite easy to identify cut lines. Good news for us, so we don't really cross into a property we're not allowed to be in or supposed to be in. Tracy, so I started in Clisiri, and we used to traverse on 4 properties there. Then I went to and beyond, so I was permanently placed on Ngala, and Ngala is sole traversing. It's only Ngala rangers that drive around on Ngala. But then the nice thing was about there, you could go do a stint at Pinda or Kirkman's, which is in the Sabi Sands. Then Kirkman's, you get to traverse on a piece of Mala Mala, and then also Lion Sands property. And now Juma, and then I think tomorrow I'll be exploring Juma, just for the fun of it. So I don't know, I didn't really play, but quite a few properties that I've found. It seems that we are going down into a dip, so we might be in a bit of a bad signal area. Across to Lauren.
Okay, our update has changed. We looked round and round. We were going to head to Biffle's Hook Dam, but that's okay. Rowan would love to see it, so he can have the Dam of Nothing. Maybe it'll change. It's really not the Dam of Nothing. It's beautiful. It's just what we used to call it. We're going to just head back down south. Leopard tracks have been called in down that side. And of course the Hyena Den is there. I'm not having much luck working that drainage system in the north. But let's see how we go. This is a road battlier that I have to force myself to drive, if that makes sense. It's not one of the roads that I just take naturally for some reason. I have to force myself to take battlier. You never know what might be on it. And I have had some wonderful sightings on this road. I don't know why I don't take it. Maybe because it is extremely bumpy. Ah, hyena, what a surprise. Happy hyena. And many people ask, why don't you track hyenas? Well, this is why. I think Rowan had tracks earlier in every single road that I have driven this morning. And it's been quite a few. There have been hyena tracks. Okay, maybe not all of them are fresh, but they are such mobile animals. They don't behave in a manner like the leopards or lions, which is a little bit more organized and predictable. They're very sort of erratic in their behavior. have no plan, really. They just follow scents. Sometimes you watch a hyena, they'll just zigzag, go up, down, around, and come back to the spot that you actually spotted it on, and that's why we don't really follow hyena tracks. I would if I could. You're asking, do they behave like wild dogs? With regards, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but essentially no. If you were to specifically be talking about hunting, then I guess you can say that they do. They both hunt by coursing, where it's not ambush stalking, it's not staying hidden and then launching your attack like the cats. It's just outrun your prey, cause panic, cause chaos, and hope that the prey become exhausted or that the prey trip and fall, end up on the ground. So in that manner, yes, they do behave like dogs. They're not related, however. Oh, what are you guys doing? I feel like we have just interrupted a guinea fowl party. Hello, chaps. So they're not related. A lot of people think that hyenas are dogs or they're part of the Canidae family, and they are not, but they do hunt in similar manners. Hyenas do hunt, although they don't necessarily have the reputation for doing so. But in terms of social structure and individual behavior, I guess no. You will often find hyenas on their own, just wandering around, exploring, whereas dogs really always travel as part of the pack. And a clan and a pack also have very different dynamics as well. Clans are matriarchal, led by a female with a really, really strict hierarchy, but everyone can mate, everyone can reproduce, whereas dogs, their pack is led by the alpha pair. So it's a top pair, not female-led, and only the alpha pair reproduce. So in some ways, yes, in some ways, no. I hope that answered your question. The guinea fowl has now left room for us to pass, so we shall pass. Thank you, guinea fowl. To avoid all the dung piles is really something else in summer. You look like you're drink driving. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Trevor, you hope for lions. I'd love to catch up with the lions too. I honestly have no idea. Being away for so long, it makes things very tricky to come back into and actually know where the animals are traversing. But if you say it's been a long time, then yes, I really hope we see some lions too. I really don't know where the Nkuhumas have been spending time. Sometimes I see random updates on Facebook, but I don't really use social media in that regard. We'll get there. We'll try and figure out some lions. There was reports of lions. They said the Talamatis, but again, I'm not sure. And we really did check yesterday before the rains hit and could not see any signs of them. So it's very possible they didn't turn north into Juma and instead went south into Hoffman's. But I'll do my best to try and get updates from surrounding areas and see if we can get some lions for you. To come back from a stint and get notes from the likes of Tristan. This is where they are, this is what's happened, this is where they are, check roads for this place, but I don't have my notes, so I'm gonna wing it. You gotta love it when you wing it. Okay, we are heading south. We absolutely will get ready to pop into the hyena den.
Our first morning view of Karula. And what a treat
Karula, affectionately known as the Queen of Juma, was born in 2004 to Safari and Mufufunyani. Karula defines success as a mother and a huntress.
It's just the most amazing leopard, this.
Well known for having raised multiple litters of cubs successfully, mothering came naturally to this cat. The Queen was adored by WildEarth viewers from all over the world, but sadly, in March 2017, she disappeared, leaving behind her last two cubs, Hosanna and Shongile, to survive on their own. Her bloodline continues throughout the Sabi Sands, and her memory will never be forgotten. If you want to celebrate the life of this magnificent cat, then head over to our website and find out more about buying a Karula non-fungible token.
Hello everyone, my name is JP. I'm one of your WildEarth eco-training bushwalk guides. So for many years you've been watching WildEarth directly from your laptop or computer. However, now you can watch it directly from your connected TV, your Apple TV, or from your Roku box. And if you are like me, always busy, you can now download the WildEarth app and view it directly from your mobile phone.
BirdLife South Africa, our country's only dedicated bird conservation organization. They have been very successful in a number of areas, including the conservation of more than 150,000 hectares of grasslands and estuary habitat, saving thousands of albatrosses in trawl and longline fishing, and training community bird guides as ambassadors for nature in rural areas. Celebrating their official 25th anniversary, they are sharing 25 of their top success stories across their social media platforms. BirdLife South Africa is currently striving towards the conservation of 132 bird species that are heading for extinction. If we conserve birds, we will protect other biodiversity and important habitats that provide clean water and clean air for humans. Their work is forever ongoing. People who love birds can become a member of BirdLife South Africa or make a donation towards a bird conservation project.
Okay, so welcome back. We've actually made it to Buffelshoek Dam, and just on the other side we've got a male waterbuck. He's just now started feeding. He was lying down for a little while, and as you can imagine, because the weather's just so great, they would actually make the most of it and sleep in for a little while longer, even though his eyes are open, and just, you know, rest. Because you don't know when the heat is coming back, and so take as much as it in as you possibly can. So I can imagine this would be the territorial bull for this area. You can see the horns are really quite large. The tail wagging the entire time, just trying to shoo away flies or whatever bugs might be bothering it. I can imagine there's a lot of ticks around in the grass as well with the amount of rain we had. Yeah, quite an interesting, and of course, yeah, the white ring on the bum, which gives them the Afrikaans name, which is ringgat or ring bum. So that, of course, is just a follow me sign. Especially two colors sticking out in the wild, like this black and white. The white on the bum would be easier for other waterbuck to follow when they do run away from predators, or often just with the females walking away from their youngsters. So I can imagine he probably weighs about 250, 270 kilograms, and yeah, they are known to be rather aggressive, the territorial bulls. Well, the territorial males with those enormous horns. They often do fight. So he keeps looking to the left, and looks to the left of him. There's a female. You can just see she's still lying down in the grass, about 50 meters left. Sorry, Odie, it might be behind the bush willow for you. Okay, you can see her. So yeah, she's still lying down and feeding. A bit of multitasking going on there. You can see she does not have the horns. Quite like the characteristic chew side to side with the mouth. Just making the most of the cool weather. The male's actually starting to move more towards her. show him. Yeah, you can see him shaking the fur every now and then. France, they are actually incredible swimmers, France. Like really good swimmers. So of course they're known as Waterbuck because their first line of defense when running away from predators is actually to take to water. And I've had quite a number of sightings of lions chasing them into water, or wild dogs. I remember this one time we had wild dogs chasing actually a baby waterbuck into the water. So it ran and ran and ran, managed to just be quick enough to escape them, and literally jumped and didn't really dive, but just jumped quite high straight into the water, swam across the dam and escaped the other side. And the wild dogs weren't really quick enough to go around the dam itself and catch up with it. So incredibly good swimmers, as their name would suggest. There we go, finally looking at us. Good morning. Actually, about the calves, they're quite interesting. You know, majority of antelope species, the youngsters have a lying up period. This is where they will stay hidden away from the herd, and then mom would go back to the herd, feed, and then come back to the youngster and feed them. It's usually around 2 to 4 weeks for waterbuck. There we go. Going back down. Age enough now. With waterbuck, they have a lying up period of 2 to 4 weeks, but they're relatively mobile, and apparently the mom doesn't really hide them. They find their own hiding spot. So often these small antelope, they are so well camouflaged when they're youngsters, and they don't give off a scent at all, so they don't really tend to move, except for waterbuck. When danger approaches, they readily try run away, which is what makes them very vulnerable when they're young. Don't know what attracted their attention, but it seems that, especially the female, she's focused both her ears to behind us. Yuri asking if the hippos would attack them if they had to jump into the water. Now, I doubt it. You know, they are, like I said, they are incredible swimmers, and especially running away from a predator, I think it would just it would catch a hippo off guard for a little bit. Here are the hippos we're talking about. It seems to be a male, female, and a youngster. The youngster just on the other side of the female, which is to the right. There you go. Oh, sorry, he's on this side now. Just see the ears coming out. But no, I doubt it, Yuri. I don't think the hippos would attack them. They would just literally swim through the watering hole. Saying that, Yuri, we've had cases where wild dogs chase impalas into water, and the poor impala just tries to stay away from the wild dog, and they end up being killed by the hippos. Especially the territorial bull. I think if he perceives anything as a threat, he would kill it. Of course, territorial over this watering hole. This belongs to him. Finally found a hippo though. We've been seeing lots and lots of tracks. And you can see these three, they actually walked the same cut line that we drove and made their way back here to Buffelshoek Dam. A bit of a breeze coming over the water now. It's quite nice too. I love their ears, like Shrek ears. Every single time they come up like a little rudder going around. Oh, there's a nice yawn coming from the female. A dangerous set of teeth. A very dangerous animal. Actually, probably the animal I'm most scared of out here. So Michelle, hippos can travel through water. That's quite deep, but they'll walk at the bottom. They're not really very good swimmers at all. So yeah, if they sleep, they'll usually go to a spot where they can actually stand, but they will travel through water that is deep enough to hide their bodies. They'll just walk at the bottom. That's why you often find hippos in very deep rivers, but then during the course of the day, if they are resting, you'll just find them on the banks of the river. Ah, there's a baby waterbuck, or not really a baby anymore, but a youngster just got up. So it seems that there are 3 there where the female was lying down. 2 of them just got up and the female is still down. Also see on the youngster the characteristic white ring on the bums. It looks like 1 youngster, 2 females and a male for now. But yeah, Michelle, the hippos will definitely travel through water that is deeper than what they can stand in, if that answers your question. Very, very, very peaceful spot, this. Very lovely. Shame there was an oxpecker on the hippo's nose earlier. Just trying to look for ticks. The Egyptian geese. Also seen them at every single watering hole we've been past. Strangely enough, no babies, no youngsters, no chicks. Coming out of the water. A very pretty bird. I must say the coloration, the faces, everything is just, as South Africans, I've never met a South African that actually like them. They are very, very, very noisy, especially when it comes to territorial dispute. I mean, if there was another pair of Egyptian geese that had to fly over now, these 2 will actually start screaming at them and try to chase them off. So I think maybe we should continue, keep checking the cut lines, maybe go towards that area where Plalamba has been known to hide the youngsters. Leave this peaceful spot.
Here's an impressive looking male leopard. Look at that neck on him. He just looks ready for a fight.
This is only the 3rd time that we are seeing him that is known as the Hukamuri male, and he certainly has a lot of character and atmosphere.
This is gorgeous. Hukamuri having a drink at one of the little seasonal pans that's filled up after that beautiful rain we had last night.
First time seeing Hukamuri, isn't he beautiful?
He's got the babies, 2 of the babies made it away. He's got the 1 baby.
Only meters away from me, folks.
You know, for all we say he's a gangster and he's got a face for radio, we only tease. He's actually highly, highly adorable.
Isn't he absolutely gorgeous? Compact, powerful, focused.
It's not just Hukamuri, an elephant's approaching. Look at this.
I love it.
Nothing beats sitting around a campfire at night whilst on safari, listening to the calls of the wild and chatting to your guide. If you sign up to be a WildEarth explorer, then you can enjoy this from the comfort of your home. Imagine hearing bush stories from your favorite WildEarth guide and reliving their highs and lows of a life spent in the wild. Every month, WildEarth explorers will be treated to an exclusive fireside chat, special occasions, hot topics, and deep dives into the WildEarth characters.
Everything else is just welling up inside of you out in nature. You know, some people think I'm weird, but I have an absolute joy. I have a good time.
No, I enjoyed myself thoroughly today.
WildEarth explorers, it's in your nature.
So there we go, look. All 3 in 1 frame. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh, that is so special. That is exactly what we had been hoping for, is all 3 of them to come together and make the perfect little family portrait.
Our highly mobile animal almost left us there. It's actually the first one I've seen since coming back. The giant African land snail. And I love them. Fantastic creatures. With also seriously unique biology. Definitely not the fast movers of the bush, but you'd be surprised if you actually just watch it. That muscular foot that it sort of moves with can get it places. Okay, it's not going to win any races, but it can actually pick up the pace and slowly disappear into the grass quicker than you'd think. And if you think about an organism like this, well, the chances of finding love are rather low. And I mean, I don't believe there is Tinder or speed dating or whatever these things are for snails, I'm afraid. So how are they going to overcome that? You're in a huge, vast landscape with embankments and riverine systems and hills, inclines. How are you going to find your love? How are you going to find your mate? You're one of the slowest movers. You're not getting anywhere quickly. But you need to reproduce. And of course, evolution's answer to that has been hermaphrodites. So at least when you do meet another individual, imagine you're a boy. Imagine this is a male and you're just seeking and seeking and seeking a female, and, well, you're just not finding her. You finally come across another individual, you pick up on their scent, you finally meet them, and lo and behold, it's another boy. In terms of reproduction, that's going to be quite disappointing. So at least if you're equipped with both sexual organs, you're ready. Whether it's a boy, whether it's a girl, you are ready. At least you can reproduce. And that's exactly the reason that an organism like this is a hermaphrodite. An amazing one at that too. So when you do meet another, well, hey, it's cool. You're ready. There's different types of hermaphrodites. There's sequential and simultaneous. So sometimes an organism, it happens a lot in the marine world. Oh. It happens a lot in the marine world that... Sorry, there's another vehicle. We're on a very narrow road. Starts off as one sex, and then later on in its life will go into another sex. That's sequential. So it's not a male and a female at the same time. It's a male and then a female, but at different points in its life. And then you get simultaneous, which is what these guys are. They have both sex organs. So they don't change. They're not a male and then they change into female or vice versa. They contain both. So there's different types of hermaphrodites. And off it goes, the speed of lightning. We are just going to move out the way for this vehicle. Black widow spider, you love... I didn't catch that either, I'm afraid, but you love something. We are just going to randomly... Oh, the shell design. Yes, unique to each individual as well. I love them too. I love shells. I used to collect shells as a child, and then naturally, as I grew up, I realized that you should not collect shells. You should absolutely leave them on the beach. They're part of the ecosystem, believe it or not. They're part of everything. The shells need to break down and eventually contribute to the fine sand. They also act as homes for lots of organisms. In an area like the Maldives, I'm just going to make sure this guy really is gone. Oh, he's still there, but I just don't want to drive over him. Have a great day, sir. Or should I say madam? Or both? I don't know. Oh, it gets complicated. But yes, in an area the Maldives, the shells are reused, recycled by hermit crabs and organisms like that. So you must really never take shells, although they are so gorgeous. You find one on the beach and humans get attached to things like this, and you want to keep them in your room, and but we really shouldn't. That was one of the big things when I was a marine biologist, about trying to educate people to stop just taking things. We want this shell, we want this, we want this. You should always leave things where you find it. Okay, so we went back and checked the tracks, female leopard tracks, moving in sort of this direction. I have a funny feeling it's Tlalamba. I'm not saying I'm going to find her, but I think it's her. And the hyena day is not active, I'm afraid. Another vehicle checked it and let me know. So there's no point in us going there. So there's quite a few drives it's not been active. I'm finding that a little bit unusual, but that's okay. It's impossible to check for tracks and urine patches when it's been raining like this. But I could just be getting the timing wrong. So we're just going to do one more loop around this area. I really think Tlalamba is here somewhere. But now that we've at least got some tracks to work with and know which direction they're heading in and that they're female, it's more than we had an hour ago. The tricky thing about summer is you've got to avoid dung piles. You've got to watch out for tortoises on the road and land snails. You've got to make sure you don't drive over them. So you're constantly focusing on the road and you've got to look around. Summer. Okay, I'm going to do one last loop, really hoping to pick up some signs of a leopard, and we're going to send you guys over to Rowan.
Guys, so we are where I think we were yesterday. So according to Rexon, this is a good spot to look for Tlalamba and the youngsters. I think he was saying there's a bit of a drainage line or a small riverbed here. It looks like it, by the way, because there are some of the larger tree species, jackalberries, things like that growing in here. So we'll actually just take it slowly, see if we can hear or find anything. Fresh elephant tracks on top of vehicle tracks. Someone drove here this morning already. But no leopard tracks and no alarm calls. Wagon pitbull. I have before, just for fun, on the walk, but I can tell you now it's the most difficult animal to track is a hyena. So I mean, their sense of smell is just out of this world. I think they can follow scents that are 3 or 4 days old, and so often they do, and they walk on their nose. So they'll go this way for a little while and then decide, oh no, there's something smelling there, so turn right and then walk east again, and oh, it's just an absolute disaster. But we have tried. Here's the elephant. We have tried before. We'll start following hyena tracks if there are a lot of them. If you can hear sounds, see if there's any carcass. I'm going to stop here quickly. You can see the trunk of the elephant's already up. It's trying to make sense of us, smell if we are any danger at all. You see the tip of the trunk was facing towards us. Still a youngster. So yeah, wagon pitbull, if we are looking for den sites or carcasses, then yes, we'll follow hyena tracks. But if you want to try, just follow a lone hyena. Good luck. Very, very tough. Try reposition, go a little bit forward. There should be more of a herd here. That elephant is a bit too young to be all by itself. Oh, there we go. There's a larger one. Mama. She just made a poo and a wee. Very, very, very fresh. A big mommy. Shame, so every single animal we've seen today, the tails are just constantly wagging, and it's literally because of the rain. There are so many bugs out, and I can imagine they've got some flies biting them, just trying to chase them off. And it's the same thing with their ears. They're not necessarily flapping them to keep cool, but rather to chase away bugs. So you'll notice the feet as well. Every now and then she'll try to kick her stomach, and it's literally just trying to keep away from the bugs. Actually, Odie, if you zoom in on that poo, you'll see all the flies circling there. There's so many bugs around. Sorry to show you poo this early in the morning, especially fresh poo like that, but mostly just focus on the flies flying around that. And that it's quick that it attracts so many bugs, because even us coming around the corner, you could hear the poo still dropping. So not even 10 seconds or 15 seconds. But shame, yeah, they must be delighted with this weather. Like I said earlier, I mean, they can just feed and get majority of their moisture actually from what they're eating. Of course, elephants need to eat a lot during a day, sometimes up to 150 kilograms, and sometimes even higher than that, 250, 300 kilograms. So they are very water dependent, especially because what they eat contains a lot of fiber. I mean, grass and leaves and trees, they don't really digest that well. It's only about 40%. So they still need a lot of water. But this time of the year, you know, good food around everywhere. Nice, nutritious grass. Lovely leaves to eat. Yeah. What a time to be an elephant. I was wondering why she now stopped. Michael, I think they are so happy. Of course, in the next 4 months, 5 months, it's just going to dry up again, and then elephants will have to start traveling further and further, get to better food. Especially in rainy conditions like this, you know, summertime, they'll prefer to eat grass rather than trees, and then as it gets drier, they'll start heading more to browsing again rather than eating grass. I think with their stomachs, they just eat whatever they can and as much as they can per day. It's always quite nice after rain how clean their tusks are. You can see even through the bush how the white sticks out. Not very long tusks, I must say. It's all a genetic thing, but very sharp tusks, especially this one on the right. They seem to be of equal size. And then I'm trying to see if they have notches on the front, because I often use them to actually cut grass or branches. Not that she's doing it now. They are quite sharp here. Very dexterous trunk. I wonder what she hears every now and then, because you can see she just briefly pauses from feeding, listens, and then carries on. Benton, as a general rule, females live longer in all species, really. Elephants, you know, the males often do fight with each other when it comes to mating rights, and so often it does happen. Okay, you can see on her left-hand tusk there's a notch. So yeah, and sometimes to the death. So as a general rule, in all species, females live longer. But with elephants, I mean, the big boys, I think they just get over the fighting and tired of it, and yeah. So generally about 50 to 60 years, depending on the vegetation they eat. think if the vegetation was always like this, so green, so lush, and so soft, they would expand that lifetime. So I'm trying to stay out of the camera here. I always find it funny, such like saggy, wrinkly bums, even on the babies. Oh, she's being bitten quite hard. I think on her stomach, you can actually hear the tail hitting the stomach or the behind every now and then. Very, very, very busy. Quite a good amount of hair on the tip of the tail. I've seen some elephants with nothing left. I'm feeding underneath a beautiful balanitis or torchwood. I must say that's one thing I've seen here on Juma. It's just incredible, incredible trees. Especially these, the torchwoods. Very, very, very nice. Try to go a little bit forward now that she's disappearing more and more. It seems we had a bug on the lens. Told you, never park this close to poo. Actually, I'm going to do exactly that right now. Of course, not going to drive over the poo because it's going to start attracting things like dung beetles. I'll try start rolling balls. I'm actually going to try avoid it. Just, how's that, Odie? A bit better. Not a care in the world about us, this female. She didn't even turn her head to look at us. Just moving and feeding, moving and feeding. Not troubled by our presence whatsoever. There's a larger female behind her, spotted. So it is a breeding herd. Don't know if you can see the other one, Odie. Yes, I think what we might do is let these be, carry on feeding, carry on pooing, and then we'll carry on circling the area where Tlalamba hides her cubs.
For years, the game of leopard thrones in Juma has been a fascinating soap opera. Tingana has been affectionately known as the Duke of Juma for many years. But his path to the throne was not an easy one. Mvula was a legend from the south who tried hard to push the king from his territory.
This is the cat that I'm pretty sure Tingana was sniffing around for. That is Mvula. How exciting is this?
Eventually, Mvula lost, but his young son Quarantine started to push through from the east. At the beginning of 2018, an intruder arrived. His name was Hukumuri. The look on his face sent chills down your spine. WildEarth is launching non-fungible tokens attached to many of these individual animals that we have grown to love on WildEarth. Head over to our website to find out more.
Hello, boy. You are a monster. And he's coming right up to us. Hello, boy. Oh, settle down. Settle down. He is very, very close. He's pushing his trunk against the car. You can feel the car moving. Hey, 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 hey. Stop that.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
My name is Lauren, and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me, and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know.
If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Okay, so we are slowly circling this little drainage line or riverbed where Tlalamba supposedly hiding her cubs, and it turns out Odie's not seen them either yet. So there's something for us to do. Although I'm not going to drive off-road into the area where they think the cubs are, just because from a sensitivity point of view, if they're there and the mom's not there and you create this enormous two-track, hyenas are the issue, because they are super curious and they'll often follow a road just to go check what's down there. And I don't want to be the cause of hyena eating a leopard cub. So I'd rather just slowly circle the area. If we find the mom, Tlalamba, then we'll follow her in. Otherwise, just see what we can see from the road. I think if it does end up heating up today and just bakes the road, it is going to be nearly impossible to find any track, because then the road will harden so much. But apparently we are expecting a little bit more rain this afternoon, so hopefully not too much. Luckily here at Juma we do have the covers, except the cover keeps Odie dry and will be wet. I'll be wet. You guys will be dry as well. I think Lauren's in this area. She was chatting about Tlalamba earlier. Gladys, it mostly depends on their age. So if she's just shifting den sites, can you imagine it's usually going to be under a kilometer if they're very, very, very young. Until they get old enough and they'll actually start walking with the mother throughout her territory. So I think here there's quite a number of leopards, so I don't think the territories are that large. So I don't think she'll move them too far. Especially, I mean, she's comfortable with this area. I think this is where she got raised. So she'll remember where her mom hid her, where she felt comfortable and perfectly safe, and then, yeah, hide her youngsters there, just shifting den sites not too far from each other. They're apparently, 4 months old. I can imagine she'll try to kill something, especially on a night like last night, or maybe even tonight. Get a carcass and then go call her cubs and take them to the carcass. Depending if she hoists it, where you can imagine majority of leopards here at Juma do, because of the number of hyenas that stroll around this area. Very nice area, definitely thick enough. Oh, Heather. Luckily, the thing is with male leopards, they are territorial, and within their territory, there will be a number of female leopard territories. So it depends how long a male leopard can hold onto his territory. If, however, that territorial male is either ousted or killed by another male leopard, I would say that male leopard is a lot more dangerous to the cubs than a hyena, because even leopard cubs, they can climb trees, but a male can climb a tree. It just depends on the circumstance. But both of them, massive threat. lions, baboons. I mean, anything out here that's small is. Okay, so we're going to send you back across to Lauren while we here.
We've also been scratching around and no such luck. But it is nice to work these areas again. And there are more vultures than I thought originally, but they're sort of sporadic. They're not all clustered together. But I wonder if maybe yesterday something did happen here, or maybe the day before. And I'm just trying to think where I want to go now. I think Rowan's working in the same area as me. I'm gonna go this way. One last look, we may as well. White mane. I think that question was tick behavior. Was that right? Tick behavior. Does it make tick behavior better? I'm not entirely sure exactly what you mean, but if you're asking possibly, does it help flush the ticks away for the animals, or does it increase the ticks, decrease? I'm really not sure, but it's not like mange. Obviously, mange is also caused by little mites, not ticks, mites, little arachnids, and the rains can really help flush away mange from the animals. It really benefits them. It can get rid of them. But with ticks, to be honest, because they are exoparasites in a sense that they really do latch on, gorge, and then fall off again, I'm not entirely sure how rain affects their behavior. Obviously, in terms of abundance and population numbers, the rains do bring out the ticks. And there are lots of different species of ticks. Some of them are easy to spot, like the rhino ticks, and then some of them are almost impossible until they're on your skin, like the pepper ticks. So the rains bring about the ticks, and with every bout of rain, I imagine the population numbers would increase. But in terms of behavior, white mane, I'm not sure. This is a beautiful bull. I spotted him earlier. He's walking along the road, which is so lovely. I don't want to get too close, but just let me get around this bend and we'll get the view of the great big bum. You can tell that's an older bull. He's got his swagger on, walking along the road, not a care in the world. Did you get that name, Bobby? Mandy. I couldn't possibly tell you the longest tusk that I've ever seen in terms of length. It's very difficult to determine. But up in the Masai Mara, I definitely saw males with tusks that almost reached the ground. When they put their elephants can sort of bring their head up really, really high when they're on alert, or hang it low. And when they hang it low, the big tuskers were definitely touching the ground. But in terms of the length, unfortunately, didn't get the chance to measure them, but definitely saw ones that reached the ground, which is really quite incredible. They do say the big tuskers have the genes. It's a genetic element for the elephants when the tusks get that long. But I mean, they do have tusks in museums from... Sorry, I just wanted to have a little listen there. in museums that reach extraordinary lengths from years and years ago, and there is a sort of investigation into the fact that over time the big tuskers are becoming less and less, unfortunately, and that tusks in general are decreasing in length over time due to the pressure on elephants, the external pressure, which is coming from, of course, humans. Now he's wandering into the thicket there, but we can still get some final views. So our impact is having an effect on the traits of elephants, which are getting less and less over time. Maybe one day that'll save them. I believe the heaviest pair, which is in a British museum, comes from Mount Kilimanjaro, just slightly over 100 kg, and 97 kg for the other one. I'm sure it's 102 and 97 because obviously the tusks are not the same. One is more dominant, so one is going to be shorter, which means if it's shorter, it's not as heavy. And I'm sure that's one of the heaviest pairs recorded. But as for length, sure. I don't know which British museum it's in, but it's in Britain, and the elephant came from the Mount Kilimanjaro region, and that's the weight of the tusk. One tusk, 100 kg. My goodness, mind-blowing. Oh, bless me, everyone. Sorry, it's my first sneeze of the day. Okay, we're gonna do one last look. You never know, we might get lucky.
Shongile was born on the 3rd of February 2016 to Karula, the Queen of Juma. We watched her grow from birth to enforced independence when Karula disappeared. On the 19th of August 2016, we caught up with Shongile, but the afternoon did not go as well as we hoped. Tandy, Shongile's sister, was on the prowl. From nowhere she appeared, and a traumatic fight ensued. As darkness fell, Shongile escaped to a tree.
Shongile is just trying to catch her breath up there.
That was the last sighting of her on Juma. She disappeared into the wilderness just as her mother before her. If you want to celebrate the short life of Shongile, head over to our website to find out more.
Do you dream of traveling to a far-flung wilderness location where life continues as normal? A place where you can escape to nature and breathe. If you become a WildEarth explorer, then this could soon become a reality. Subscribe today and stand a chance to win regular travel prizes. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. Cape Nature is the chief custodian of the Western Cape of South Africa's natural environment. This highly successful organization strives to conserve the province's natural heritage to ensure a sustainable future. Besides nurturing nature, Cape Nature offers an authentic ecotourism experience to local and international visitors. And one of these experiences is walking amongst the penguins at Stony Point, or as we know it, Penguin Beach. WildEarth broadcasts live from here every day and is very privileged to be partnered with Cape Nature, who have focused their conservation efforts here. If you want to visit these iconic black and white African penguins for yourself, then head over to our website to find out more. Cape Nature. Conserve, explore, experience.
This is definitely the most I've driven in a while. Once you get focused on a mission, though, you should try and see it through. I don't quite know where Rowan is, but we are going to do one last loop and then head inwards. Get a little bit closer to home. here's Quarry Pan. Look how full it is. I must say, Quarry Pan Road, not the pan itself, is one of my least favourite roads. I don't enjoy it. Jane, I think if we knew the answers to that question, we would be very rich. It's very difficult to know what animals sense or try to project or understand how they sense it, but they do sense incoming weather changes. So, for example, big storms, they will absolutely detect the pressure changes. And when you say animals, it's also quite tricky because you get the smallest of insects to the biggest of elephants. But I firmly believe that most animals do detect those pressure changes and they are able to sense incoming weather. So I think they know about rain long before we do. And to just look up at the skies, most animals are not visual, really. A lot of animals are not visual. I mean, they can see, they'll have eyes or at least lenses if you're insects, but to look up, most animals wouldn't see anything if they're not visual, but I believe they can detect it. A lot of animals out here are very chemical, able to detect all sorts of vibrations, changes and different scents in the air. So I think they absolutely do know rain is coming long before we do, but I don't think it is from looking up and seeing a dark cloud and thinking, ooh. How far in advance they know and exactly how they know, I am really not sure we know the answer to that. I'd love to become a different species for a day. Something so far, not a leopard, not a lion, also mammal, something so far from a human being. A fish or dragonfly, just for one day. To really see how they see the world, to get into their own world, experience. I'd also love to be a leopard for the day, but I'd love to just be something so different from a human that it just takes you back. Okay, a vehicle did just drive this road, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing something that I said I would find. At least I can find one thing. Hello? No, don't fly off. That's a perfect dung pile. Don't fly off. Wow. I'm just going to get my porcue pointer and jump out. Which means I'll lose comms for a little bit, but I need to see this pile of dung. This is fresh. You can see it's all still wet and soggy. The ground's still wet. Wow, look at the activity. And this is why we don't drive over dung piles. I mean, really, really dry dung piles, you can. And obviously accidents happen, but this is really fresh. I wonder if it's from this morning at some point. And immediately the flies are on it. The dung beetle was on it, but naturally he's life. And there's all sorts of life. And there's tiny beetles, flies, big flies. I don't know the species, I'm afraid. Crawling in, ants. Whew. Luckily it doesn't smell too bad. And so much life, and by the end of today, very possibly, the dung beetles will have completely demolished that. And what I mean by demolished is just taken it apart. And it'll be this lovely flat pile of dung rather than those sort of balls and towers. Now again, there's a lot of vehicles, so I'm just going to pull over and let them pass. Bear with us. I can smell that now. It is quite stinky. But I mean, it's elephant poop. They're herbivores. Carnivores, on the other hand, well, that's something you don't want to mess with. Rachel, no, it's not fresh or nutritious, really. I mean, it's been through the intestines and then passed out the anus of an elephant. No. Herbivores would, of course, need fresh vegetation. Whether they're browsers or grazers, they're going to need something that's fresh, alive, and harbours nutrition. And of course, there's a lot of nutrition in the vegetation. And that's how they get their protein in the end. It comes in the form of amino acids, which the body will build up into protein. So it's really only your insect life that dive into this, and it's incredible. And if I drive here this afternoon, you will really honestly see a different pile of dung. It'll be more like a carpet. The dung beetles will get to it, and they find it through their chemical senses. The chemoreceptors, not vision. And that goes back to that question earlier about rain. Oh my goodness, is that a dung beetle coming out? I actually want to compete with one. I want to see if I can roll a nice ball. But I should probably bring some gloves for that. It's literally pulsating, and I know that might creep a lot of you out. I understand that it is a little bit, looking at all these insects, but it's life. It's literally buzzing and pulsating with life. Important life. Did we manage to get the dung beetle on camera? No, I promised there was a dung beetle. I said I would find one. But it's abandoned ship. There could also be a dung beetle right inside, but I'm not going to go digging. There's nothing like a big pile of poo. Okay, we're slowly going to make our way into a more central area, and we're going to send you guys over to Rowan.
It's a good morning when we start tracking dung beetles. We just happened upon two more elephants. Also, again, it's a cow and calf, and that calf is actually being bitten on the side, the front left leg. So I was trying to scratch itself there. The white you see in front on the left of it is a foam nest frog. They often make their nest just above a little watering hole. So got a tiny bit of water, seasonal pan here. It's on the other side of the baby. Still busy feeding. Just eat and eat and eat all day long. Of course, to maintain that size, you do need to eat a lot. We're actually blocked on the road now by the mother, who's, just stepped into the road. But again, not a single worry about us. She didn't turn her head. The baby didn't even react to us coming up. They're just carrying on feeding. So she's eating grass and the baby's eating a tree. Bizarrely. But it's always interesting to watch youngsters. Sorry, Odie, I keep talking about one and then the other. But so here, as you can imagine, it's easier to, just draw a branch directly into your mouth. You don't really need to cut or pull it with the trunk. It literally just puts it right inside the mouth and then starts chewing it. That's exactly what I would do, a lazy eater. I'll be honest, I'm quite a lazy eater. I don't really like eating chicken or bone. Oh, there we go. Out. There, now you've noticed us. Little young male. See how dark the face is just because of the wetness of the branch. So it's got quite a bit of moisture on the face. And doing exactly the same thing the mom did. Stopping on the road, pulling a bit of grass from there. Eating anything can put his trunk around. I'll be surprised if it eats a bush next to it. It's called a magic worry. It contains quite a lot of tannin, very, very bitter, and actually dries up your mouth. So they tend to not eat from that too often. This is why in winter, they're evergreen trees. In winter, when you go through big clearing, Of just see dried grass and these green quarries that nothing really ever feeds on. But same with the elephant earlier, you just see the tails constantly swishing, trying to keep the bugs away. Of course, as I say that, it stops. Damon, you're right. Damon's saying he could watch elephants for hours, and you can. But I find them, even though they are very dangerous, very big, but I find them very peaceful to watch. Also quite easy to read their body language. They'll tell you straight away when they are unhappy with the proximity, when they don't want you there. They also, they'll understand personal space. So if you are unhappy with their proximity, if you feel that they are rather close enough, a gentle tap on the vehicle, something like that would make them back off. There's another one coming from the right. It's funny, all the females have these secretions down the temporal gland, which means they are stressed, but I can't imagine what they are stressed about unless there's a big bull in the area. So it's another mother and calf joining just from the right of them. This will be a little bit younger than the youngster we saw now. Might be a little bit of a while for them to actually cross the road, going further forward. Or wait it out. Yeah, this female to the left of us, she's now changed the direction, and she's actually thought they were going to go into the drainage line, into the little riverbed that's just off to our left. A very fluffy tail. I also like the way they walk. Such swagger. Yeah, you can slowly start seeing the other elephant. We follow the road just a little bit to the right of there. Just walked into high shot where you can actually see her body. Doing exactly the same thing, just feeding slowly. I'm going to go a little bit forward. I actually want to see if this youngster wants to try going to the drainage line. It's often very funny to watch him negotiate a path downhill. It disappears, eh? With the grass being so long. Hard to see. You can also see the mud on the back, so it's probably it was spraying mud all over itself a little bit earlier. Helps with the parasite content. From my angle, it almost looks like it wants to sleep. Or it might just be, there we go, down. See, that's quite scary. That's how easy an elephant disappears in that. Now imagine we're looking for a leopard. This is why it's going so well. This is exactly why we're tracking dung beetles. She's got interesting tusks. Both of them actually face outwards. Not very thick, quite thin, and just facing outwards.
In the woodlands of Juma lives a lion pride with a taste for buffalo.
Look, the rest of the pride wants to come in as well and help this female. This is insane. Now, this is what I was saying about lions and buffalo. It's absolute pandemonium.
WildEarth have been privileged to follow the Nkuhuma pride for many years, and during that time we have grown to know them well. One of the most loved cats in the pride is Amber Eyes.
So typical Amber Eyes.
Born in 2012, she was not successful in rearing her first 2 litter of cubs and was seen as an aunt to the other youngsters in the pride.
Amber Eyes is... Oh, that is so magic.
Then eventually, towards the end of August 2019, we found her with 4 tiny cubs of her own. If you love the Nkuhuma pride and want to celebrate their lives, head over to our website and buy a limited edition token for specific individuals within the pride.
If I could take you on safari all day and all night, I would. But unfortunately, it's not always the best time to see the animals. Now, in between safaris, you can watch the WildEarth channel with loads of extra shows. If you have a connected television, Apple TV or Roku box, then download the WildEarth app, and if not, then just find it on the App Store on your phone.
Wildlife trafficking remains a growing problem in South Africa, and often made worse by the way the media portray this complex issue. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, have recently embarked on a program whereby they train reporters to better tell stories of wildlife trafficking.
In my community, wildlife conservation is mostly something other people do, and I would like to change that. My name is Iman Singli. I told people I met that the pangolin is one of the most trafficked animals on the planet. But what is a pangolin, they said? Why is it in danger? This is what made me decide that the pangolin story must be told. If we are to play a part in preventing the extinction of this animal, then we must all be part of the battle.
A partnership between WWF South Africa and WESA, supported by USAID.
Yeah, so quite a bit of cloud cover. Not too bad, I think. I don't know. We'll see what happens this afternoon. Just trying to move slight bit forward. See where this mother and the youngster has gone. There they are. Try to reposition and I'll put them on our left. Smaller mother, well, body size wise. There's another elephant right in front of us there. But then this baby is the one I want to focus on. Quite a bit of beard on that chin as well. Again, a starling has just swooped over. Of course, when the elephants move through the grass like this, they scare up a lot of insects, and this often helps the bird. So the elephants don't benefit from it at all, but the birds do. A cute little thing. Any baby animal, really. It's just the trunk is so tiny compared to that of the mother. Stephen, not intentionally. You know, I often think elephants might eat chameleons as well, just because, well, when they rip off branches and stuff. So it just happens to be there when they chew down. So I think they eat quite a bit of bugs, but not intentionally. No, they are strict herbivores. Okay, so those two are disappearing. Luckily, we've still got two more in front of us. Now, another youngster, another large female. Youngster to the left, female to the right. Look very well fed. The youngster has now just decided to make a crown out of grass. So, didn't really want to eat that, rather wear it as a hat. Not even that hot. Looks good on you though. Well done. It's now fallen off. Not a very good balancing act. And all of them have these secretions down the temples. So here comes the female. She's not wearing a crown, but she's got a branch stuck to her neck. Might fall off soon. Of course, being such a big animal, they often walk through trees and branches, and it all just got to break. See how she's shaking her head? So there we go. She was actually trying to get rid of the stick that was just resting on her neck, and you could just see it fall down to the side. So interestingly, with her, the left tusk is a lot longer than the right tusk, and they tend to favor a side. So either right tusk or left tusk, they'll often use one or the other more to ringbark trees, to cut grass, cut branches. And on wet days like today, maybe she lifts her trunk again, but you could actually see the greenery of the grass just at the base of the trunk, because often that's where it gets stuck when they pull the grass out. It tends to be a bush everywhere in the way. Let me try reposition again. I must say it's quite fun to drive Rusty, like a very small little Land Rover, short. Annabelle, you're very right. Some elephant, yeah, definitely. Sorry girls, switch off right here. So they gently turn their head towards us. It was just a sign of the vehicle. But yeah, just here to feed. Also see they're only eating the top of the grasses, so where it's flowering basically. Us being this close, you can actually notice all the wrinkles, the hair in the ear, and you can actually hear them. So I'm going to keep quiet just for a little while and just listen to them ripping the grass out. See, sorry, before I say that, you could actually see the green on the base of the trunk there. Okay. Scratch the ear with a bit of grass. Didn't like that part. I'd love to know what they think about, you know, like she was eating and then just stopped and looked at us. She might have been listening to some more elephants right behind us. Oh, sorry, in front of us. There's two more joining. Which are wonderful animals. And just see from their eyes as well, intelligent. Very, very, very intelligent. Long eyelashes. Of course, to protect their eyes, often they have to stick their whole head into a bush to try get to the leaves they want. So very long eyelashes, almost like giraffe. Beautiful colored eyes as well. She's pushing the baby through the gap. There we go. Had enough of this section of grass. Moving on. Okay, so we're going to leave them and continue on. Try to find a road that I know and see what else is out there.
Good morning, Karula. How do you do? Lovely to meet you.
Oh, look at that. Hi.
Oh, look, it's just too special. She's such a fantastic mother. Isn't that incredible? Karula's blown a bubble.
The W is there, and the O and the next W. So there's the wow on Karula.
I'm not going to come too close because I know you got your babies. And hello, you old friend. Isn't she spectacular?
Look at that, isn't that incredible?
When on safari, there's nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a WildEarth explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. BirdLife South Africa, our country's only dedicated bird conservation organization. They have been very successful in a number of areas, including the conservation of more than 150,000 hectares of grasslands and estuary habitat, saving thousands of albatrosses in trawl and longline fishing, and training community bird guides as ambassadors for nature in rural areas. Celebrating their official 25th anniversary, they are sharing 25 of their top success stories across their social media platforms. BirdLife South Africa is currently striving towards the conservation of 132 bird species that are heading for extinction. If we conserve birds, we will protect other biodiversity and important habitats that provide clean water and clean air for humans. Their work is forever ongoing. People who love birds can become a member of BirdLife South Africa or make a donation towards a bird conservation project.
Come on, little guy, go get your fish supper. Very similar to leopards and lions, I guess, in that it's ambush stalking, really. I mean, they don't rely on camouflage so much, so that differs. But look at it go. He's trying not to disturb the water column because fish detect pressure changes using their lateral line. Any tiniest fluctuation in pressure, they can detect it, and they understand whether it's just a movement or whether it's a threat or whether it's a depth change. So this little guy's avoiding disturbing the water column until he spots what he wants. And he wants fish. I mean, insects are lovely, great, but it's not a big tasty fat fish, is it? Once he spots what he wants, he's going to slowly dip into the water, and he's aware that the fish will detect that, and that's why they do it ever so slowly, sometimes standing on one leg. Look at him poised like that. So it's not too unlike the cats in that they really do stalk and in ambush. They're just not relying on the cover of the vegetation. They're relying on keeping themselves still for as long as possible. Reese, you're saying you love the way he moves. Amazing. I know. It's like Osana when he gets down and he's got his shoulder blades up and they do the leopard crawl. This can be the heron crawl. It doesn't quite work, does it? See, we're slowly going into the water, but look, he's going to freeze now because he's just disturbed the water column. So with that right foot of his, he knows that he's made a bit of a splash, literally, and that the fish, which I'm guessing he's going for, will detect that. And that's why he's freezing now. Now he's moved the left one. He's going to wait a while. Okay, no, we've changed our mind. That was an insect. And that's why the fish obviously detected him. So he's now gone out the water and he's walking along the shoreline. It's better to walk along the shoreline and not disturb the water than to walk in the water, if that makes sense. Until the prey either forgets or another fish comes along. It's remarkable. Now today I definitely did 100 loops, slightly frustrating, but it does give us promise for this afternoon. I think I am going to continue to keep working that area this afternoon. I will also check on the hyena den, of course. Come on, little guy, you can do it before the end of drive. I've lost my talent at doing that bird call.